The Philippou brothers are back with their brand new film, Bring Her Back. After their hit success Talk to Me, the Australian brothers, Danny and Michael, have returned with a brand new film, also set in Australia, with a British actress, Sally Hawkins, to essentially helm the project, it feels like. You know, she does carry the film. A little bit. She does. The film is about two kids going into the foster care system, and they end up with a woman named Laura. And she is their new carer, and she's perfectly normal. You know, she has a stuffed dog, it's fine. One of the kids is blind, Piper, which is, I think, a good character choice, because they didn't use it as a gimmick. They didn't purely make her blind to have a tense section moving forward of her not being able to see, blah, blah, blah. They did use it to emphasize Laura's gaslighting of Piper, because she does. It's easier to turn her brother on her, which she does do in this film. And then that spirals downwards from there into Laura's nephew, Ollie, who is definitely not demonically possessed. Now, if you've read the title of this video, you will notice I've used the word brutal. And I think brutality describes this film pretty succinctly. And I don't want to compare it to Talk to Me. I don't want to do that because it annoys me when people compare directors' films to their other films. Bring Her Back compared to Talk to Me, I would say, is a lot less marketable, and I'll explain that later. And also, I think will be much less of a hit. And Talk to Me, maybe I just haven't seen it for a while, but I remember it's still having that, I don't want to use the word spice. I was saying I'm a TikToker. Does this book have spice? Who cares? But Talk to Me does still have a gory aspect and a dark tone. In Bring Her Back, it's amplified quite a bit. For example, have you ever taken a wrapper off a candy and then gone to put the wrapper in the bin but throw the candy in the bin? Well, the character Ollie in this film has that same problem with a piece of rock melon and a knife. If you can connect the dots there, you'll see what I mean. For me, the knife scene was, yeah, it lingered. There are arguably gorier scenes in this film. I would say self-mutilation due to demonic possession, which is always fun. Starts gnawing on his own arm, if you know what I'm saying. We've all been there. But yes, the knife scene, that stuck with me more because it comes so out of left field. After the knife scene, when the gorier stuff happens, you're kind of prepared. You kind of know, okay, this film's going there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the knife scene, that stuck with me. This whole film has quite a heavy mood that sits with you afterwards. I would say the knife scene isn't just shock value. I don't think this film uses shock value just to shock you. Because the whole thing with shock value is it's like, oh, in the moment, and then it's gone. Over. Or it's just something to get a talking point going online on Twitter. But I would argue that this doesn't do either of that. It is purely there to unsettle you. And like, it feels realistic, the way it's done. Like, oh my god, whoever worked on the prosthetics on this film, good job. I did see this in theaters, and this is the first time this has ever happened. There was a walkout for a gorier part with the arm chewing. They did come back. They did come back after like 3 minutes of being outside the theater, but it's the first walkout I've ever experienced in watching a horror film in the theater. There weren't any walkouts when I was watching The Substance in theaters. There was a lot of raucous activity, given how The Substance is, but no walkouts. So I found that very interesting, which I think should show that this film really doesn't care. And Danny and Michael Philippou aren't afraid to go there. They really aren't. They aren't afraid to kill off characters that normally wouldn't get killed off. They get killed off with no fanfare, no dramatics, no empathy, almost. You know? And that happens in Talk to Me too, so clearly they're not afraid to do it. But yes, I do think this film will have a harder time reaching general audiences than Talk to Me did, because I feel like it's going to turn a lot of people off at a certain point. It's going to become unwatchable for most people. I would almost be okay with saying most people. Now, Sally Hawkins. You might know her from the Paddington films or The Shape of Water by Guillermo del Toro. She's an incredible actor, and she absolutely... I so want to say nails the role. She nails something, and I don't think this is her fault, but I do have a criticism with her character. Laura, her character, I feel like comes across very eccentric, very strange, very creepy. But as the story goes along, we find out that really she is grieving, she is mourning, and she struggles to let go. She's lost her daughter. And she's trying to, as per the title, bring her back. But I do feel like Sally's performance comes off a little bit too creepy, and I feel like it almost lacks that human side. There are moments, but I feel like they're overwhelmed by all the creepiness. Like, you know, sort of like staring into the camera like, hello everybody, don't do the wrong thing. You know, that sort of acting, where it definitely works. She is incredibly good at it. I just feel like it missed that human side that I would have liked to see more of, because especially with the ending, I feel like it did need more of a human side to come across. I did see a YouTube video pop up in my recommended before I went and saw the film that said something about the directors copy-pasting their film. And after seeing Bring Her Back, it's not a copy-paste of Talk to Me at all. It has very much the same vibe. I would say, well, Talk to Me, and also visually, aesthetically, Talk to Me is a lot darker, and Bring Her Back is shot almost entirely the scary stuff during the day. It's harder to do ghostly stuff during the day. I feel like they went more gore. You can do ghostly stuff during the day, absolutely, but they decided not to here. Overall, I think they know exactly what they're doing. I'm very excited to see what they do next. I would like to see them branch out from Supernatural, because both films have been demonic so far. I would like to see... I don't know what is with me lately, but I really want to see an alien, like a really good alien invasion thing. I don't know why. I know we got Nope by Jordan Peele, but I don't love that movie. Not to bring other movies into this. Overall, if I was going to score it, I do definitely think it deserves 4 out of 5 chewed upon knives. And I believe 4 out of 5 is the same score I gave Talk to Me as well, so... Both films are very good. They're very different. I feel like Talk to Me is a lot more rewatchable, even though it does get dark. I feel like Bring Her Back's more of a one and done. I'd rewatch it for Sally Hawkins, but that's about it.